Hi everyone, and so there's a video posted in Moodle in at the top of the first week's page that is an introduction to the course as a whole, and so you should listen to that one. It's about a little bit too long, about 16 minutes long. This one's going to be a lot shorter. I'm going to try and keep the videos under 10 minutes and make more rather than have few long ones, have more short ones so that they're easier to watch in small bites. So this week, make sure you've got two posts to do this week. So make sure that you post in the introductions, introduce yourself, and when you know who you are, and introduce yourself with respect to the context of this class, especially. So religion, spirituality, and the transpersonal. What is your previous experience with religion, especially? Because we know that that's going to play into throughout this course. And by the way, if you are deeply steeped in a position, or were deeply steeped, please share that and bring that in throughout the course wherever it seems relevant, especially when we're covering that religion, but it might be relevant elsewhere as well. The benefit of your experience is going to enrich the course, the class as a whole, and deepen it. And religion, there is I suppose a theological side of religion, but religion is the live mystical religious traditions are to do with experience. So we're interested in your experience. Maybe your experience wasn't good in a particular religion, or maybe you've had a deep experience in two or three. So we'd like to. It'd be good for us all to hear that, and for you to be as willing to share as you possibly can. So yeah, introduce yourself in that respect, and so with whatever seems relevant with respect to your experience with religion, good, bad, ugly, sublime. These would be great for us to know. The other aspect of this course that I want to talk briefly about is, because we're talking about something that is ultimately, at the very least, a mix of the experience, the experiential, and the theoretical, the theological, the doctrinal, this sort of a mix of these two, or you might even call it a mix of the experiential and the cosmological or something. A religious experience may occur within a religious cosmology, their view of the cosmos, the universe, of life, existence. So, because it's primarily experiential, then I think we need to take that approach to this class, actually, such that we engage in what's contemplative writing. So contemplative writing comes from a contemplative space, but it also includes content that you might not normally include in your writing. So in the discussion posts, in an academic course, we often cite references. Where did we learn this, and what? And so we'll include citations in our writing, and it's like, okay, so this particular piece of information came from this source. Okay, and that's still true. I mean, it'd be good to cite, just to say where things come from in that respect. But in the case of contemplative writing, things can come from that source, so the outside referenced sources, or they can come from your own experience. So you can reference your own experience, and you can almost do that in a formal way. So it's like, I'm referencing my own experience now. I'm telling you that this is my experience, and how I've come to this conclusion is because I read these things, and here are the external references, and I had these experiences. And when you put those two things together, then this has led me to this position where this is now what I think and feel to be true. There's a dual sort of sense of sources, your own experience and external sources. And in contemplative writing, when it's really powerful, when it works, it's these two sets of sources come together, and they're mutually reinforcing. So your own experience, you, and your own experience is explicitly required to report from it in this course, and I'll be asking for that all the way along. So, and I was at Naropa University, which is a university that's based on a model of contemplative learning, and that's part of what's included in contemplative learning. It's like you have to bring your inner experience to the academic experience and add it to it, and that's what makes it contemplative. In a normal academic setting, you don't bring this inner experience. You try and leave the inner experience out and report objectively. Well, we're not going to do that, or rather we're going to try and report objectively on our own inner experience and our externally referenced experience of readings and whatnot. So I hope that's clear. We can talk more about it, and please fire questions at me if it's not clear. So what I'm trying to do is to welcome you into your writing, into your posts. And like I said in that introductory email, I want you to really go in depth in these posts. So don't hold back on your writing and go a step beyond what you might normally go, because that's the focus of this course. The discussion boards this is basically a discussion-based course. This one, we're really focusing on our dialogue. And that leads me into the whole idea of interreligious dialogue. So we're studying a number of different religious traditions, a little bit the Orthodox, and going into the mystical as much as we can. So we're studying these different traditions, and there is in academia a subject of in religious studies department of interreligious dialogue. So how do these religions, how well do they talk to one another? What are the difficulties in communication between religious traditions? And in interreligious dialogue, and I say this in the introduction to the course, there's really three main ways you can go. And the traditional, the way that might be most common is called exclusivism. So I'm in my religion's the one true religion, your religion's rubbish. It's exclusive. I'm being exclusive about it. So that's one way to handle interreligious dialogue. Not a very good way, but it's one way. The next step up really is called inclusivism. And in inclusivism, I am more open to your tradition, so from my tradition, but I understand your tradition with reference to my own. I like, oh, I see that aspect of your religion. That's like this thing in my religion, so I can understand your religion because we have this thing. Your thing is like this thing, basically. So I've basically included your religion in mine. And I understand it through the lens of my religion. I'm understanding your religion through this. So it's called inclusivism. So that's a sort of medium level, which is definitely a step up, but it's not as far as we can go. And finally is what we used to call pluralism, true pluralism, where I listen to you talk about your religion as a kind of an open book. I'm like an open book, and I'm open to what you say changing me in a fundamental way and changing how I view my own religion. So what you say about your religion might really change me and my view of my own religion, and I'm open to that. And so that's called pluralism, and that's what I say we were striving we're striving to be pluralists in this class if possible. But if we find that we're not a pluralist, if we find that we have an opinion about a tradition or a judgment, then that's okay, right? But we want to hear it. We want to bring it out. So it's contemplative. We're bringing out what's within. If there are judgments in you about any given tradition, then you bring it out. You say, yeah, I noticed that I have this judgment about this religion, and here it is, and I think this came from wherever in my background, or I've inherited it, or something or other, and so you're reporting on your own experience, and we're not treating anything as bad or off limits, really, but we're striving. In reporting like this, we're actually moving towards striving for this true pluralist attitude, where we're actually really open to all these traditions and to being changed by them, affected by them. So poster introductions. Also at the end of this week, you'll have read Houston Smith on Hinduism, so there's a discussion board question. So again, do that from the contemplative writing perspective. So bring in your own experience. What did you experience as you were reading Houston Smith? What happened inside of you? What thoughts came up? What feelings? What emotions? What inspiration? What judgments? So you're addressing the question, and you're citing your own experience as well as the externally referenced experience, which is Houston Smith and whatever else you might have read on Hinduism. Okay, so that's enough for this video. It's probably gone on too long, and I'll be making more later in the week. Okay, and welcome to the class.